Warrant officer, I may be mistaken, but I think it was General Finn who said that with drug busts of this nature, that is where a consignment of drugs has been loaded onto someone else's container. He said in those matters, it is very, very difficult to detect who the consignee was, and that therefore, I'm paraphrasing of course, and that therefore these cases end up being non-detectable. I have no expertise, obviously, in policing, nor with drug busts. But I've been wondering in my mind whether the failure to detect isn't a function of the fact that once you have your information, you immediately come in and take the drugs. Is it not possible, if it is not, please explain why not, is it not possible to rather do surveillance up to a point when you know who the consignee is, whether it's at the point where the consignee attempts to take the drugs off the container, but some sort of surveillance and then action at the appropriate point. Why must you effectively throw your hands up, as I understood General Flynn to basically be saying? We throw your hands up and you say that with these sort of matters, we can never detect the consignee and therefore we can never arrest that consignee.
Commissioner?
I hope it was General Flynn.
I'm not aware of that. Commissioner, that is what the mandate of our office is. If I answer you now, I will divulge a police methodology. But
so
I think in terms of this...
Therefore, you prefer methodology that kills your chances of detection. All right, no.
Commissioner...
Let me hear you out.
Commissioner, I think it's valid because of where we are and all the allegations being made. So I think it's valid because the Commission is under the impression that we don't do this. So I need to say to you that we do. And how it is done. This is the relationship between ourselves and crime intelligence. It's an undercover operation. It's conducted in terms of Section 252A of the Criminal Procedure Act. Me as an investigating officer, I've done a few of them. I've boarded vessels at sea. We found the drugs. We swapped the drugs. We put baby powder. We put something. It looks the same, along with the necessary surveillance devices. The technical challenges, Commissioner, is the devices. I'll say that. It frustrates the operation. It's not a manual human surveillance. It becomes a technical surveillance. So I'm relying on a ping going down through the harbor channel. Then I'm relying on a ping when it moves again, when it comes off the ship. I cannot be there to see it, because I'm unaware of who my targets are. So my relationship goes back to crime intelligence, which is where the surveillance comes from. As I said, if I don't explain it to the Commission, you're going to think we're not doing the job, but we are. We've tried. The responsibility now is, the Commission is saying, let's just say that seal is their unique number. Now we know that drugs are inside that container. How much drugs? Whether it's a small bit or a ton. What if it goes missing? It's back to the warrant officer, Commissioner. It's back to the members that do the original inquiry or the original docket. We are the ones that will get charged for the drugs that go missing. A controlled delivery is the ultimate, to catch them red-handed. But the risk is huge. But the elements do exist. We have explored this previously. I have done it a few times. I can say between PE, Durban, Johannesburg, and on most of those occasions, the suspects know that the devices or the surveillance is in place, so they don't pick it up.
So basically, what would you say, based on the last sentence, your very last sentence, what would you say the success rate is? Is it
For the controlled delivery with drugs?
Yes. Where you have baby powder.
I have not had a success, Commissioner, but other people have had success.
I'm asking because my sense from General Finn's evidence, I may be exaggerating, was that it's basically nil. But of course, he didn't explain that there would be this controlled attempt at seeing who the consignee is. But my sense was it's basically nil. So insofar as you are concerned, also you as an individual officer, it's nil. And from your testimony, you are quite experienced in this and you've handled quite a number. So even if statistically we're talking about just one officer, but because you are involved in quite a number, if it's nil with you and if it's nil with General Flynn in terms of what he told us, I'm just trying to think, would you say all of that is attributable to the fact that the consignee would get to know that there's now this ping that you are talking about?
It's not. There are many factors, Commissioners. Remember, the port itself is a fenced environment. And I'll use the word fence lightly. Every access point is controlled. If your syndicate controls the access to the port, they've got access to drug flow in and out. Let's just use one substance, narcotics today. Not counterfeit, not non-ferrous, not humans. Let's just stick with narcotics. So if I, as a police officer, drive into that port, they know I'm there. If my surveillance operative goes in there and they know that who these people are, they know they're there. If I task some untoward persons, a surveillance team, that is not disguised as persons that have normal access to the harbour, they'll know they're there. When I operate in the port, I cannot operate with autonomy without anyone around me. There's always someone there. So how do I do that operation? Putting that transponder on the device without them knowing. Just to give you an example, I have to board a vessel. The captain must give me permission to board the vessel. The whole crew knows that I'm coming on board the vessel. The harbour knows that I've left Durban Harbour and trafficked en route to that vessel, because we call them, we tell them, we're going out to sea. Then I must tell the captain, the ship's engineer, the first mate, that I need to go below deck and put a transponder and open the container. They will then authorize a member to go with. They will contact their people. There's procedures in place. So you're broadcasting, same as having the TV here. You're broadcasting your whole operation the ship's engineer, the first before it even starts. So the likelihood of it happening and being successful is small. But we do it with the hope that the person takes the bait.
All right. Thank you. I'm just wondering in my mind whether... the danger is always that people will get to know. But I was trying to think if there aren't ways of counteracting some of these, or even avoiding some of the steps. But whether or not it's legal, that's something else. And
Commissioner, the
like, for instance, everybody knowing at the harbour that now you are leaving the harbour, aren't there ways of avoiding those?
But then, Commissioner...
Can't you, like the criminals, get off some beach and drive off onto the vessel? Of course, there'll still be the problem of the people on the vessel itself getting to know, but at least reducing the...
Commissioner,
yes.
Maybe the Commission doesn't know this. We have intercepted drug shipments where we found their own transponder devices inside those bags. So they themselves are tracking their shipment If it goes off the necessary paths, hey, someone's stealing my stuff. So who do they call? The police.
No,
They have better technology than we do.
Yes,
so we have to
yes.
outthink them all the time.
Yes, yes.
So as of today, we must now change our strategy again.
Thank you, Warrant Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I was moving on to bagging the exhibits, but before that, if we could just go to, I think we had dealt with the pictures of what you had found when you opened. And if we can then go to page 384, I think it is, if you can just tell us what we're looking at there, of the exhibit bundle.
These are the bags, if I'm correct. This is the Maiden Wharf scene, the Scania LCS depot.
And so at this point, the team unpacked it from the container.
At this point, LCRC is present, and as we are unpacking, we are starting to catalogue and diarize what we've found. So this is merely my contemporaneous note of what I'm working with.
And page 385?
385 is much later. This is where we open one of the bags to establish what the actual contents is. So going from a black bag that we suspect to contain cocaine, going to establish that it contains bricks of suspected cocaine.
Okay, 389?
It's an image depicting a W logo on bricks of suspected cocaine inside the canvas bag.
And on page 391, if you could just tell us what is the team doing there?
391, that is when we'd finished all the fingerprinting, and now what we started doing is finished the DNA on the bags, on the handles. Now what we're doing is literally opening each bag and then decanting the contents of the bag into exhibit bags.
And if we go to page 392, we'll see there's quite a few people on the scene. Are those people that you call later on to come and assist?
Yes.
Okay, and LCRC as well.
So that is members of the Border Police, Metro Police Street Crimes Unit, myself, and LCRC. And then out of image are the shipping yard managers.
And then on page 396.
Can I go? 396 is our yield from the container, all in exhibit bags, ready for taking to the police station.
And how many bricks do you get into one bag?
Process of trial and error. We used to pack quite a bit, so it's less paperwork, but they break and they tear. So I can tell you safely you can put 20 bricks in a bag, and it won't tear. You can pick it up. The average policeman can pick up 20 kilos. You need 2 people to pick up a full bag, which is 40 kilos, and if you don't, you're going to break the seal and tear the bag. So safely, 20 kilos.
These exhibit bags, do they come in different sizes, or do you have a standard size for these types of busts?
Commissioner, indeed they do. They come from a tiny little bag like this, which we call a bullet bag. That's our wording. Up to, I can put a mattress and a body in it if I really wanted to. We call them computer bags, bed bags. Those are our names. But they come in numerous sizes which the state has made for them. But remember, as I said, each bag is unique in its alphanumeric substance. So what's unique with these ones is it'll be PA, PB, or PX, or something like that. That would mean it's a big, what we call like a rifle bag. So yes, Commissioner.
And do you come with those bags, or did you request to have the bags brought to the scene? I mean, it's quite a lot of bags.
Commissioner, in this case, I think I had enough bags in my vehicle, so I would have come with those vehicles. I have a crime scene kit in the back of my vehicle.
And how long did it take the team?
Sorry, Commissioner?
How long did it take to bag all the exhibits?
Long. Long. We left there late at night. We started in the morning, we finished in the night.
Okay. And what's happening to the rest of the yard while you're doing this? Because this is not a bonded warehouse.
They carry on business. They run during the day or the night. They carry on.
And no complaints received about disrupting business while you were doing this?
As I'm saying, Commissioner, it was with their assistance. They bring the pallets and stuff for us to load the stuff on. They bring the forklift for us to move it again. They supplied this. This was it's like a work area. So if it rained or we had inclement weather, we were undercover.
With this kind of operation, would you have emptied the container as a standard practice? Do you empty it completely to check that there isn't more than what we see in this picture? And is that part of what you do with every operation?
Okay. Commissioner, in this specific matter before the Commission now, this is the Scania matter. So it contains very carefully placed, never scratch in your wife's cupboard, you'll knock over a cup. So these containers are packed like that. So for me to go and pull those containers, those truck parts out now, we would have damaged them. So what we did is we identify the rip-on, rip-off methodology by opening the container. We found the drugs. Now, to answer the Commissioner correctly, at the end of this, we then researched all of those containers. So, yes, Commissioner, we searched them all. I would climb in with a torch, look again, see if there's more bags, open the cab. I think in my other contemporaneous notes you can see I'm in the cab taking photographs. You know, just in case you miss a bag. And just in case we miss a brick. A bag is big, a brick is small. And the other thing is we're looking for other things. Sometimes the suspects leave notes. Believe it or not, they leave messages to each other. They either write it on the container on the inside, they write on the outside, we might find another duplicate seal. So the answer, Commissioner, is that is not the end of the operation. The whole container must get searched again and maintained.
And is that whole container must be searched in the different ways that you're describing? Is that part of the training that one should expect, that every police officer who's involved with a drug bust which involves a container would know to do more than just take the drugs that are on your face when you open the container, but to do a search, because that's part of your training?
Commissioner, I would say it would be expected of them. Correct. Because if you're in this environment and you inside this working space with this type of intelligence, someone, whether it's my senior or someone, if I forget something, they will remind me. But we talk to each other. But working with these type of things, we need to take an extra step or two. But a normal policeman, Commissioner, might not do that.
I deliberately ask in this way, is it part of their training in anticipation that another police officer will say, I was told there are 27 bags in this container, and when I opened it, I saw 27 bags, and I took them and I left. I did nothing wrong in that way. It's my way of doing things. That's why I'm asking if it's part of part of the training.
Commissioner, I'm not going to say
or the talking to. This is how we do it.
I'm trying to think, is it in a manual somewhere? And I cannot quote it. The Commission asked me about the relationship with crime intelligence. Yes, I trust them. They're saying to me in this case, let's just say crime intelligence gave this to me. They said to me, there's 27 bags. Okay, cool, thanks. But I'm going to look anyway. Rather safe than sorry. And I think it saved me a lot of times.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warrant Officer. I want to just deal again with bagging the exhibits on the scene and why it's important to do it on the scene, why it can't be done elsewhere. Can you address that?
It's procedure. If I say anything else, it's wrong. It's procedure. It says it must be processed on the scene. Just to give you an idea, we're dealing with a compressed powdered substance that's deemed a block, cocaine. If I transport that block, I'm just saying, and it gets dropped, manhandled, moved, at the end of the day is, I write in there in the SAP 13, here with one sealed bag containing a block of cocaine. Then the laboratory gets it. They open it and they say, we received bag number so-and-so containing a bag of powder. It's because the forensic space thinks differently to my space. I don't know if that makes sense to the Commissioner.
But that could happen regardless of where you bagged the substance.
It does, but the courts don't see that. And they say the exhibit is tampered with. Mandrax tablets. I said to the Commission, if it's not compacted properly, it becomes powder. Then they say, oh, but it's not tablets. You tampered with the exhibit. It's the degradation of the exhibit. So I would say the reason you seal the exhibit correctly at the scene is to maintain the integrity of the exhibit.
And if it is done, so you're saying if it's not done at the scene where the seizure occurs, if it is done at the police station where it's booked into the SAP 13 register, that would be an issue?
I'm going to get a lot of trouble from other policemen, but the reason I wouldn't leave drugs open without an exhibit bag in as an SAP 13 is because it's going to get tampered with or taken. So I would want it to be controlled, and the control is the sealed exhibit bag.
And when it's done at the scene, there's LCRC present who takes photos for the photo album showing that it was bagged at the scene.
And if not LCRC, at least myself documenting contemporaneous notes. I've got evidence that it's in that specific unique bag number. It doesn't get changed. And then my metadata from my phone is the same as, if the Commission is understanding what I'm saying. Each photograph on my device has a metadata. It tells me date, time, location. Isn't that good enough? Look, I sealed it, date, time, location. When I hand it in, it's still sealed as of that time to that time. So my chain is intact. It's less space for me to get poked at.
And if it is then booked in at a police station, so in the case of the June 2021 seizure, it was booked in at the police station into the SAP 13, but it wasn't in exhibit bags. What is the value of doing it, of doing that if it's not in the exhibit bag?
Commissioner, that's very difficult for me to answer.
Please try.
It's very risky. It's very risky. For instance, if I'm going to, the Commissioner asked me now how many bricks go into an exhibit bag.
Risky in the sense of evidentiary material, or risky in what sense?
Tampering. The exhibit register gets handed over at every shift. There's more people getting to touch and see what is there. The Commissioner asked me, how many bags for how many bricks in a bag. So in the end of the day is if I've got 999 loose bricks in a charge office, if one brick goes missing and I don't go there until I've arranged my necessary transport, how long it's going to take me to know that one brick is missing? So it's risk. If there's a mouse in the charge office and the mouse decides to eat through my brick, the brick is contaminated. And Commissioner, it may seem, it needs funny, but the defense attorney would use that against us and say we tampered with the exhibit. So if I've taken the necessary steps with the state presiding me with a bag to put it in, I should just follow the protocol.
Can I suggest this and hear what your comment is? That if they are not bagged, if the exhibits are not bagged at the location where they are found, at the port, and they're taken to a different place where the bagging and the entry into registers happens, part of the risk that there is there is no knowing ultimately whether what was originally offloaded from the container actually is what makes its way to the second location. So there's a risk of loss along the way.
Commissioner, you've got it. You cannot say what was found at point A has ended up at point B.
Thank you.
You as a policeman in a box it's not going to be a happy day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warrant Officer. Now,
So can I just ask, slightly related to this, the intelligence operative that tips you off, and you say sometimes they will be on the scene, and sometimes they are ghosts because they don't want to be seen. Do they eventually get to know that what was offloaded, what they were tipped and what was offloaded is in fact fully accounted for on your SAP 13? Does the system permit for that?
Commissioner, I don't work in their environment enough to answer fully, but I've got an idea. So let's say my scenario, for instance. A source gave certain information to the police. So a source claim would then be submitted through their processes. The source claim would have to come to me because I'm the IO. I'd have to put a copy of this docket with it to show how the source gave the information or validated that source information. So they would then have an understanding of what I've done with the exhibits, because the source gets rewarded on a recovery. The source gets rewarded on a recovery and then a conviction. So at a certain point, they might lose interest in the docket because their intention is intelligence. So to answer the Commissioner, I think a lot of the information would have been gleaned from the scene that would suffice to do what they needed to do. And then at some point along, they would keep tabs because they're still talking to their informers, and they were doing progress on those matters. So they do follow-ups. I have intelligence handlers that speak to me from matters way back because we still talk, and they haven't been finalized. So they do check up on matters. They are like a brought forward.
and insofar as, I just want to go back to FSL and any role that they may play on the scene of a recovery, not a clan lab. If a investigating officer calls FSL to come to the scene of a recovery to guide his members or her members with doing sampling, have you ever heard of anything like that occurring, and why would that happen?
Commissioner, I can say no, and I don't know why it would happen.
Can you just tell me what is sampling?
I don't know.
So you wouldn't ever ask FSL to assist you with doing sampling of exhibits?
Commissioner, that's what I'm saying, that the word is different to me. It needs to have a context. If I'm dealing with illicit chemicals, which I suspect to be used in the manufacture of narcotics, there's lots of chemicals. We don't know what they are. They're labeled as such. I could ask them, do they come and take that stuff? And they will give us advice. Then usually out of that scenario, customs gets involved. Because customs can take samples from containers and stuff like that. And they have a laboratory. So they will put a detention on those chemicals. The chemicals get detained. And then an analysis gets done from customs side. And then there's a relationship going forward. But personally, Commissioner, I will say I haven't had experience in sampling or doing that on the scene.
Yeah, I was very specific to confine it to a recovery scene, so not a clan lab.
No, Commissioner, I haven't.
And if you, as the investigating officer, wanted to know whether what you're dealing with is cocaine on the scene, what you found, you could do a presumptive test. You wouldn't need FSL to come out to do that.
No, I would do that. A presumptive test I can do on the scene.
Thank you.
It's something totally different, Commissioner. Remember, the presumptive test doesn't come with a 2-on-2 statement. It's just an investigative lead. It's a little swab. It's something. It's the same as having a dog bark at the drugs. It's not what FSL does. It's a presumptive test, just saying to me, yes, you're on the right track. Carry on.
And have you ever requested FSL to, or inquired from FSL how to go about destroying exhibits if they take time to make storage available for your exhibits?
I have, due to correspondence in matters that I have, and it was requested me that I correspond, that I can move exhibits to them for destruction. Yes, I have.
Not for you to move exhibits to them for destruction, where you are asking them how you can destroy drugs.
No, I'm not allowed to do that.
Why do you say you're not allowed to do it?
I've never done it, never heard of that.
That's different to saying you're not allowed to do it. Why wouldn't you be allowed to do it as an investigating officer? What is required in order for exhibits, drug exhibits to be destroyed?
Commissioners, in the olden days, we used to destroy cannabis, burn it. But that was done with an officer and the exhibit clerk and stuff like that. That has all changed now. How I understand the protocols and the methodology behind it, there's only one authorized entity that destroys exhibits, and that's Forensic Science Laboratory. The Commission showed me the documents the other day, the SAP 83, that's a directive and the authorization to destroy an exhibit. Myself as an investigating officer, or even, I don't want to say further than that, I'll stay with myself. I'm not authorized to destroy an exhibit.
Exhibits generally, or are you talking about narcotics? Are you saying any exhibit has to go up to FSL for destruction?
So, Commissioner, if there's, for instance, thank you, Commissioner. If I have a suspect that has left a phone at a scene and the matter is finalized, and the phone must, nowadays you don't hand the phone back or you don't put them on auction because of all the data on it. A cell phone is now destroyed. So you authorize the exhibit clerk to have that phone destroyed. How they do it, they squash it, they break it, or they send it to a scrapyard, I don't know. But there's an authorization that is done to destroy that exhibit. But for narcotics, I can say, I know, there's only one space, and that is Division Forensic Science Laboratory.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted I wanted that delineation.
Firearms are the same, Commissioner. All firearms go to Division Ballistics.
Okay.
Only they destroy them from there. It's not destroyed anywhere else. They all get processed at one point. We call it a nodal point. I don't know if that's the right word.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Warrant Officer, there's just one aspect on the investigation part that I want to ask you about, and then I want to move on to just tie up some loose ends from yesterday. to conclude your evidence. In the bundle, the second exhibit bundle, there should be a new page 611.1.
You said CJC what, Mr.?
611.1, Chair. It's CJC 242. No, it's 24.
Sorry, can we just say the C?
244. CJC 244. The page after page 610, there's a new page. 611, there's a new 11.1. 611.1. Do you have it?
Yes, I have it.
This relates to the June 2021 seizure. When we spoke yesterday, you had mentioned the detention by the Department of Health so far as the bone meal is concerned. Can you just explain this document to us, how this document comes about and its effect on the container once it is received, this note is received or issued? What happens to the container?
Commissioner, to be complete, there's a few forms missing that I see this now, but it can be explained. When the vessel arrives offshore, it submits a notice to discharge to the Port Authority. In that notice to discharge, it's digital, of course. The notice to discharge includes the container and the commodity as it is classified. So the person that packed this would have given it a classification and a commodity code. The moment, in this case, I see it's bone meal.
Yes.
It's bone meal. So it's an animal product, it's a waste product. So there's a system in place that flags these items automatically. And what it does is it automatically places a detention on that consignment. So that container, at some stage in its life now, while arriving in Durban, has to be inspected. It cannot be released into the market without being inspected. And the detention notice here is the Department of Health, Veterinary Services. Sorry, it's Veterinary Services that has put the detention.
And if I understood what you said, that Veterinary Services and Department of, I'm assuming, they don't have their own bonded warehouse or whatever. Where would these get inspected? Where the shipper has chosen, the yard that the shipper has chosen?
Correct.
Okay. And then I just want to inquire from Advocate Sello if I need to deal with the SARS detention notice. If I can just ask you then, how does this go, if you can go to page 623 of that same bundle. At 611, we have Veterinary Services calling for the detention of, well, there's a detention notice because they're going to inspect. And then on 623, you will see that there's a notice of detention from SARS, a SARS detention notice, illicit trade. It's dated the 23rd of June 2021, so that's the day after the seizure. The seizure was on the 22nd of June 2021. Do you know why SARS and the vessel that or the container that we're interested in is the one that you see asterisk under investigation? Do you know why SARS would issue a detention notice after the container is already in the yard?
Just the wheels of the system, just going slowly, that's all. So SARS has obviously picked up the the flagging notice that it is a commodity. We know the Ladeur, but I don't think it would have been shipments being monitored on the Ladeur. It's a massive vessel. It would have been, in this case, it would have been the product that would have been flagged. I'm surmising, it's hearsay. But if you're asking me how it came after the container was already in the yard, remember the detention notice is placed automatically. Now they're doing a formal notice. And that's what this piece of paper is. It's a formal notice from the SARS illicit trade group to the import manager saying, we want to look at those 10 containers that you've landed.
It's not because SARS suspects that there's drugs on these. They're looking for illicit
They're
goods.
looking for illicit goods or wrongly declared goods.
Okay, thank you. Then, Warrant Officer, I just want to deal with the aspects, a few aspects that we dealt with when we were dealing with your history and your experience at DPCI. Chair, if I may just ask the attorneys to hand up documentation that they will put in your files during the tea adjournment, but for present purpose, just to hand it up to you. Just for me to place it on record what is being handed up, and then to ask the warrant officer some questions on that, and to clarify one aspect of his evidence from yesterday as well. So, Chair, you will have in front of you, I think, is it CJC 249? The first two, CJC 247 and 248, are just photographs that the warrant officer had given us to show the evidence, the bags, the mandrax in the evidence bag of the February 2020 drug bust, because there aren't any photographs of the exhibits in the bags at the scene. And then 248 is just better copies of where the scene was cordoned off at the February 2020 scene as well. Then, Chair will recall that yesterday the warrant officer gave evidence about the dispute about the cancellation of his scarce skills allowance when he was transferred to support services, and the legal process that he then initiated in order to stop the cancellation. He's provided us with the letter that he had sent in response to the notice, and the notice as well. So the order of the notice, it's CJC 249. The letter that he received is at page 670. Can you go to that letter?
I'm here, Commissioner.
And Warrant Officer, if you can just perhaps maybe read the letter into the record and then just explain to us that I know you said that your allowance was never formally cancelled, but if you can read the letter into the record. And at this stage, if I understood you, what you were saying is that you were at support services at this stage, and they notified you that they were cancelling your scarce skills allowance.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay, please go ahead. You can just read the heading and paragraph 1 and 2.
It's SAP 21. Cancellation of scarce skills allowance and service allowance. It's my force number, my name, Supply Chain Management Support Services, Directorate for Proprietary Crime Investigation, KwaZulu-Natal. According to our records, you are currently placed at Supply Chain Management in the Provincial Office and not performing any operational duties. Kindly note that you do not qualify for scarce skills allowance and service allowance. Therefore, the above-mentioned allowances will be cancelled with immediate effect. It's dated 2020-25, 0714, signed. Colonel N. Jama. That was the acting head. That's the head of our legal services.
Okay, and then you responded to that. This is on the 14th of July, 2025. You've already been at support services for over a year.
Correct, Commissioner.
Then at page 667, your response. you can just read it from paragraph 1.
This is my response to the notification. It was compiled with a bit of assistance from the legal team.
Sigers Nobe, don't you want perhaps to focus on whatever salient issues you want the warrant officer to deal with?
Chair, so
I'm looking at the length of the letter.
yes, I understand, Chair. It's just that you will recall that he had given evidence about the history of the initial complaint, so it deals with that as well, just to show that contemporaneously there was this interaction about him not having received feedback on the initial complaint. That's why I'm asking him to.
Okay, that's in order.
I'll tell you which paragraphs not to read, but you can start with the one.
Cancellation of scarce skills allowance and service allowance.
Just from paragraph 1, yeah.
Thank you. On 14 July 2025, I received a written notice of cancellation of my scarce skills allowance and service allowance with immediate effect. The reason given being that I am currently placed as supply chain management at the provincial office and not performing any operational duties. Copy is attached. 13 February 2024, I received a written notice of temporary placement from serious organised crime with pending the outcome of the investigation of a complaint on allegations of serious corruption against myself. On 30 October 2024, I received a written notice of alleged misconduct and pending investigation in terms of Regulation 8.1 of the South African Police Service Discipline Regulations 2016, conducted under DPCR KZN. There's a DR number. On about 26 November 2024, I was requested by Colonel Magudla to submit an affidavit in response to the allegations against me, and I did so on 29 November 2024. A copy of the covering email and affidavit explanation enclosed. Aforesaid notices dated 13 February and 30 October are attached. On or about 19 December 2024, Colonel Jacob phoned me and informed me that the investigation under case number KZN DPCR DR4 of 2024 had been finalized and that he was issuing me with a verbal warning in respect of the allegations against me. Since then, I have received no formal notification of the outcome of the investigation into the initial complaint against me, which gave rise to my temporary placement, nor have I received any further communication or update from anybody regarding my temporary placement, save for the notice of cancellation of my skills allowance and service allowance with immediate effect. I was temporarily placed at the Provincial Support Services, DPCR KZN, pending the outcome of the investigation. In the circumstances, I hereby request immediate written confirmation of the outcome of the initial investigation and the consequent status of my temporary placement. I have never applied for a transfer to or a placement at Provincial Support Services, DPCR KZN, nor do I hold or occupy a specific post number at Provincial Support Services, DPCR KZN, nor have I received any notice or correspondence regarding any intention to have me placed permanently at Provincial Support Services, DPCR KZN. I currently hold a post of investigator at Serious Organised Crime Durban. I believe that I should be placed back in my position at Durban Serious Organised Crime to perform my usual operational duties as soon as possible, with the immediate reinstatement of my scarce skills allowance and service allowance. I await your response as a matter of urgency. In the interim, all of my rights are reserved. Signed by myself.
Thank you, Warrant Officer. And then, Chair, just for the record, page 671 is that temporary placement where we had a photograph. He's now provided the actual document. Warrant Officer, after your evidence yesterday, I had then asked you whether there was any other aspect that you wanted to deal with insofar as the issues of victimization within the DPCI.
I need some explanation on the letter, the warrant officer's letter. Warrant officer, the warning that was given, I'm not sure that I follow what exactly it related to. If we juxtapose that with what you referred to, as I understand it, the original investigation. By the original investigation, I assume that you are referring to the open quote serious, or rather open quote allegations of serious corruption, close quote.
Correct, Commissioner.
And what exactly is this that you were warned or given a warning about?
I was charged for being the director of a shooting club. You are supposed to have permission to be part of the police club. I made my representations. It was done, I think I mentioned it yesterday. We did it to preserve the name for the bank account. There was no income reserve. There was no income anywhere else. But I was charged for that.
Oh, I remember that from your testimony yesterday.
Yes,
it's just that in this letter, of course, you are writing to someone who has that background.
Correct, Commissioner.
Now with us, you're suddenly warned, and yet you are writing about the allegations of serious corruption. So it all gets mixed up, at least in my mind.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Apologies for that, Chair. So he had addressed it yesterday. The verbal warning was in consequence of the alleged, that you failed to declare your directorship in the shooting club.
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thanks.
In paragraph 8, you say you haven't received, or in fact you are requesting confirmation of the outcome of the initial investigation. This is the Florida Road allegation that you're
Yes,
supplying
Commissioner.
drugs, and you never received anything in writing.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay. As I understood your evidence yesterday, you found out on your own from, I think, Port Shepstone, that there's nothing to it, or that the investigation was closed.
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Warrant Officer, the issue that I had wanted to ask you about related to when we spoke about the victimization, you had indicated that there were other members that had also been victimized, but the other issue was the protection of certain members at the DPCI who did have serious allegations against them.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Do you want to address that now? Or do you choose not to?
I can.
Okay. What has been provided to us, Chair, is on page 672. It's a news article of two senior Hawks officers that had been arrested. And the warrant officer had indicated that he is aware, has personal knowledge of the one he'll deal with the allegations against the officers and what their current employment status is, and what happened to the colleague that had reported the incident.
Thank you, Commissioner. I only became aware of this as I was now working at the provincial office. Next to us, we have a Priority Crime Management Center. It's where all our sensitive information gets profiled on our targets, our suspects, and our projects, and our undercover operations are run. One of the ladies there was arrested for extortion or corruption. I stand corrected on the correct charges, along with a fellow brigadier. What then transpired is that person was released on bail. The person came back to work, nothing happened. It's difficult to understand it because here a mere email gets presented and you get moved. Here you've got a person that's in a very confidential environment, classified environment. It's out on bail for a serious offense, nothing happens. So I'm aware of the people, they weren't happy with what happened, they work in the same space, and complaints were brought. We can say a whistleblower came forward. The whistleblower got victimized straight away. The whistleblower has since moved to a totally different environment, but still within the DPCI, but in a different part of the province now. But as we speak, the other person is still at work, not suspended, not moved. So there's no impartial behavior towards employees when there is investigations against them.
And this colleague that has been arrested and is out on bail for the allegations in the news article that we've been provided, who does that person report to?
Ultimately to the General.
General Sanona.
Correct, Commissioner.
Immediate?
Commissioner?
The immediate person she reports to?
The immediate is obviously the group commander. It's Colonel Mangole. And Colonel Mangole falls under General Sanona.
Thank you, Warrant Officer. Chair, that's the evidence of...
Let's check something. Yesterday you spoke about the complaint that you laid, and after which you were then moved, or these allegations were made against you. And this is an allegation. The complaint was about the loss of exhibits, as I understood you, and dockets, or disappearance of exhibits. Do you have, or can we have a copy of that complaint?
Commissioner, I don't know how it is with a member of the Commission.
Is it with the Commission?
It is with the Commission.
Okay.
I don't know how it's been handed in or where it is, but I still have the original.
Okay.
So if you want it, I can produce it to you in person.
And that complaint, you submitted it to who?
That would have been Captain KG Sibia.
Sibia. And did you receive a response to it, as in an acknowledgement
No,
in any
you asked
form?
me yesterday, Commissioner, and the answer is still no.
And to your knowledge, was any investigation conducted into that complaint that you laid? Did anything come of it, as in inquiries even?
Commissioner, there was an investigation,
Okay.
but on different cases, not those cases. The
Not,
member
the,
was
not the ones that you complained about?
correct. The member was eventually found guilty in court, but the member was not dismissed. The member brought discharge.
But but the ones that you referred to?
The one that
you're
I
saying no.
referred to, I cannot tell you what the outcome of the investigation is.
Okay.
To this date. It has been handed to other law enforcement agencies because I did not get anywhere with it.
Yes.
I can, with the greatest of pleasure, hand you that document.
Okay. Ms. Nube, will you arrange that we have it?
Yes, we will,
Thank
Commissioner.
Good morning, Warrant Officer.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Just going back to the temporary placement letter dated 13 February 2024. It's on 475 of file 2. But in the current one, I think we were given a cleaner copy because the one we had in file 2 was a photo. It was signed by General Senona, correct?
Yes.
And General Senona is coming to give evidence on Friday. Now, in this commission, we try not to turn the commission into a forum where people deal with labor issues. So we don't ventilate HR issues between people and their superiors. But the allegation you made is very serious, and it goes to the heart of the terms of reference of the commission, because you implied yesterday that your superiors were moving you out of the way because you were stepping on the toes of the truck traffickers. Now, I want to try to understand that allegation. Is that an allegation you are making against General Senona? And is it something that we must put to him when he comes to give evidence on Friday?
Commissioner, I think it will eventually come out that the suspects who stole the drugs are known.
Say that again?
The suspects who stole the drugs are known.
Are known?
They are known.
Known by who?
I was informed by Colonel Jacob personally who they are. But the links to the management are known.
Management of DPCI?
Correct,
The
Commissioner.
links of the suspects who stole the drugs
Correct,
to the
Commissioner.
management of DPCI.
Correct, Commissioner.
Yes.
So the only influence that I can draw, I cannot say to you, Commissioner, I have evidence, is I have done X, Y, and Z. The repercussions are as follows.
Now, I don't want you to go into the evidence of who took them. My focus was really on the allegation you made yesterday that you believe that you were temporarily placed in another department because your superiors were moving you out of the way because you were stepping on the toes of the drug traffickers. Now, I just want to be clear. You are saying General Senona amongst others.
No, sir, I said General Sonona is the person that moved me.
Because he's the one who signed the letter.
That is correct.
So when you say your superiors, you're referring to him.
I can't answer it like that, Commissioner. It's very difficult. That's very difficult.
And you're basing that on suspicion, obviously.
Commissioner, I've made some good recoveries. I think I've done a very good job. I don't need anyone else to tell me that. It's in my heart. If I was not doing a good job, I wouldn't have been here.
And you,
But the other thing, sorry, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Never have I received an accolade, an appraisal, an award, or a nomination at the Prestige Awards or anything for the work done.
So let me summarize this because, look, I'm mindful of the fact that it's sensitive testimony you're giving. But the long and short of it is you have reason to believe that the reason you were moved was the reason you explained yesterday. And you can't think of any other reason why you would have been placed in supply chain.
There is no other logical reason, Commissioner. If I was not interfering with someone's activities, they would have left me. But if I was efficient to interrupt their activities, I was targeted.
And you are saying even if there was an initial complaint, you believe that once it was found not to have merit, you should have been returned to your old position.
Correct, Commissioner.
And the fact that you have not been returned suggests to you at least that they don't want you there.
Correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Chair, there's just one matter for clarification with the warrant officer regarding the polygraph, his evidence regarding the Port Shepstone polygraph results. Warrant officer, my recollection is that you said you weren't aware of your results of the polygraph, that you failed the polygraph. I just want you to clarify the position because you had clarified it to me earlier on. It's not that you weren't aware that you had failed. You were told that you had failed. It was the first time that you had seen the report that you had failed.
Commissioner, you put the report in front of me yesterday. I even said to you, am I allowed to even see this? It's the first time I've seen that. As far as we were told, is it a myth? Is it a truth? You failed. We must just take it as it is. In the DPCI, if you fail the polygraph, you're supposed to be transferred out or fired or whatever it happens. It says so. But nothing happened. And then yesterday, the Commissioner, you put that document in front of me, and it's scary. And then you see your name there, and then you say, hold on, this is the thing that I've been looking for all my life now, just to say I didn't do it.
Okay, so it was the report that you were referring to that you didn't have knowledge of, but you were informed unofficially or informally that you had failed the polygraph.
Commissioner, the polygraph person, when you finished, they say to you, what do you think? Did you pass or you failed? And I said, I don't know, you tell me. No, you failed. And then we were told the whole office failed. So that would be different to the report that I saw yesterday. So we were told from the onset that every single one of us was now corrupt. But the document I see yesterday has exonerated so many people. But they don't know that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify so that it's not suggested that you're saying you didn't know that you had failed. You didn't, what you're saying is the polygraph examiner just said to you, how do you think you've done, and said that you failed, but nobody officially communicated the outcome to you. You saw it here for the first time at the Commission.
Correct,
Thank you for the clarity.
I just checked this. We saw 2 documents yesterday relating to the polygraph. You saw that. The one, it's the DI outcome, and that says deception identified or something. And that's what you're referring to as a failure. But there was a second document which had about 3-4 names where it says no opinion, something like that. So you say you were told all of you have failed. Were you told anything about the later one, the other report that says no opinion and includes you in that list?
Commissioner, that is correct. Both of those letters I had never seen. Maybe is it on my file? I don't know. I've never been told I've had something like that put on my file. I've never seen it. Never.
What does that mean? You are not aware until yesterday that there is a report which said no opinion is expressed about your test.
That is correct,
until
Commissioner.
yesterday. Right. Thank you. Thanks, Ms. Seegers.
Chair, sorry, we do have an answer on the polygraph. We just received it. I want to just get guidance from...
Are you referring to the unsigned document?
To the explanation
the second document?
Yes, an explanation of the 2 documents. It'll just take us 10 seconds to consult as to whether we... And we'll provide the document.
I'll count 1, 2.
Please. Thank you, Chair. Chair, my leader has said that I can read this into the record, and we will then provide the official document from the Lieutenant Colonel, Subsection Commander of Polygraph KZN Forensic Science Laboratory, KZN, who has sent us an email to explain the 2 documents. And the email came at 9:50. We only saw it now. It says, the test was conducted by Captain Nell. All polygraph tests are subjected to 2 quality reviews. The first is the technical review during the polygraph process after the polygraph charts are generated. During this process, the result was a DI, deception indicated. The polygraph result was communicated to the examinee during the post-test interview. The results on the summary were obtained after the tests were done. This is in relation to the first report. Later, during the administrative review process, the reviewer went through all documents and found that the polygraph examiner had made serious errors during the polygraph examination process. Reviewer's report is attached, which is the unsigned one. We will see if it is the signed one now. A non-conformance was opened and investigated against the polygraph examiner. The test was considered invalid so that the examinee was not prejudiced by the errors of the polygraph examiner. The polygraph examiner in question was stopped from conducting any further polygraph examinations thereafter.
So, effectively, the warrant officer was exonerated.
He was, Chair.
All right. That probably means all of those tests were...
This relates only to him,
Yes,
we will, before all the other witnesses come, we will have to do the same exercise, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We are done with the witness, Chair.
Warrant officer, you are excused.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very, very much for your testimony. And at least I'm happy that we are at the point where we are adjourning. I see that you are emotional, so you'll find time to compose yourself now. Thank you very much again, Warrant Officer. Let's adjourn and resume at 11:25.
Thank you, Chair. Colonel, can you hear me? Just to clarify.
Yes, I can hear you, Advocate.
Okay. Before you just confirm for me, you should have a file, a small file that has your statement.
Yes, I do have it, Advocate.
And you would have 3 other files, which are exhibit files.
Yes, I confirm. I do have it.
And there is another file that has been delivered to you just now. That
Yes,
okay.
I do have it.
We'll go to that file later on.
Yes.
Can we just check our own files? You say 3 exhibit files.
Yes, it should be. Do you have 2 or 3?
Only
It's
2
2.
from the last witnesses, yeah.
Okay, then maybe I'm mistaken with the...
Okay, just wait.
Oh, no, apologies. It's 2 exhibit files. The one is the statement file. Apologies. So it would be
It's
2.
the same that we had.
It's the same as you had with the previous witness.
With the first.
Can you then go to your first file, which has your statement?
Yes, I've got it in front of me.
Thank you. What we'll try and do is, just in the interest of time, is go through your statement, but what we will do is to ask clarity-seeking questions or clarity questions as we go along, and I'd request the commissioners just to take note of that rather, that we just ask questions as we go along rather than letting him finish because time, I think, is not with us. Could you then start with your paragraph 1, reading it?
Yes, Commissioner. My name is Justice Jablan Tuma. I'm a Lieutenant Colonel in the South African Police Service with personal number.
Please skip.
0459.
No. Please skip your personal number.
Okay. Now let me start afresh. I'm Justice Jablan Tuma. I'm a Lieutenant Colonel in the South African Police Service. I'm attached to multi-dimensional organized crime, Durban, intelligence collection in crime intelligence. And I'm a unit commander in MDOC Durban in KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay. Can you then just explain to us your position with this multidimensional organized crime? What is the structure? Where does it fit within the command of the police and crime intelligence?
Okay. Just a second, Commissioner. Multi-dimensional organized crime deals with serious and violent crime, which includes armed robberies, CITs, etc. And its reporting structure, each way it is as follows. From the handler.
Sorry, Colonel. Would you just explain, you're saying etc., but I just want you to set out fully what it is that you are involved with. It's important.
Okay. Basically, we are dealing with multi-dimensional organized crime, where we investigate syndicates involved in serious and violent crime nature, which is armed robberies, which include CITs, and business robberies and murders.
Thank you. So do you deal with narcotics currently?
No, we don't deal with narcotics.
Okay. And in terms of the command structure, who do you report to?
Okay, I report to my section commander, who's a full colonel, and who reports to the brigadier, who is a section head, who then reports to the provincial head, crime intelligence. And the next person in command will be the divisional commissioner.
Thank you. And do you interact with the DPCI and the leadership structure of the SAPS? And what's the nature of your interaction?
Operationally, we do interact at the ground level, and at senior level, there is an interaction between CI section head, provincial head, and provincial head of DPCI, which will also include National Prosecuting Authority.
Okay. On your side, do you interact with the leadership of the DPCI and the police, that is National SAPS?
No, we interact at the operational level, which will be from our office to their offices, and then from there the interaction will be on our section heads or provincial heads at a senior level.
Okay, so there is no formal need or structure in which you interact with the leadership of the Hawks?
No, there is no formal unless it's something that needs an application where you need to submit when you request whatever you'll be requesting them to assist you with. But operationally, we interact. We have a memorandum of understanding where we interact, where operational members interact with.
No, I'm talking about
detective.
the leadership.
You spoke at the same time.
Oh, sorry.
There will be transcription problems. Please repeat, Mr. Skakan.
Apologies, Chair and the witness. I wanted to check your interaction with the DPCI leadership and the police leadership. That's what I'm interested in, your interaction. I understand operationally you said you work or you interact.
You mean me as a person or as a unit?
Yourself, as a head of the unit.
Yes, we do interact with the operational commanders within DPCI if we need to operationalize information. There is that communication.
Thank you. Then would you, unless there's anything, can we then go to your paragraph 4? I don't know whether there's a need to go to paragraph 2 in the light of swearing in.
No, you may skip it here.
Yes, okay. Is there anything you wanted to add, Colonel?
Perhaps the last sentence of
No,
2,
Commissioner, no.
The last sentence of paragraph 2, I gained knowledge of the facts. That sentence, perhaps. Did you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner, yes, I did hear you.
Please read.
So if I may interpret that...
please read that
okay.
into the record. I gain knowledge
Okay.
of the facts.
Okay, I gain knowledge of the facts stated in this statement through intelligence gathered during the course of my investigation and personal observations in the performance of my duties.
Thank you. And I just wanted to perhaps just to follow on what the chair is saying. Currently, you are the unit commander, correct?
Is that correct,
Okay.
Commissioner?
When you've indicated that you involved operationally in undercover operations and such matters, where yourself you are engaging in certain tasks as an operative.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Please go on to read paragraph 3.
Okay. Are we skipping or are we continuing with that one? Because I think that's the one.
No, please read it out.
Okay. I'm matriculated in 1991. Joined the South African Police in 1992. Before SAP was amalgamated to the South African Police Service in 1995 and appointed as a constable. I served in uniform branch currently known as Visible Policing at Westville SAPS. I studied technical essay in Durban, National Diploma, Policing Management, but did not finalize or complete studies. I was appointed to the rank of a sergeant in 1996 And in the year 2000, I was appointed to the rank of a warrant officer.
Please proceed unless we interrupt.
Okay, paragraph 4. In 2009, I was appointed to the rank of a captain. I joined crime intelligence in 2012 and attached to security intelligence in border security, which is in crime intelligence for KwaZulu-Natal, and became an intelligence operative. On 2026-0301, I was appointed as a lieutenant colonel and the unit commander, multi-dimensional organized crime Durban intelligence collection. I've gained my knowledge and experience through police training and fieldwork through the years in my ranks. Okay, the paragraph 5, my duties in border security and crime intelligence included gathering intelligence and supply such intelligence to the relevant units within South African Police Service for operational and investigation purposes. The intelligence gathered is supplied to relevant SAPS members or units available in order to operationalize or to investigate.
Okay, can you just elaborate on that for us in terms of gathering intelligence and what prescripts are applicable in your operations?
Okay, Commissioner, that will be more answered in paragraph 7. I don't know, should I jump to paragraph 7?
Okay, then perhaps,
Okay,
no. Perhaps just continue and after you've read paragraph 7, Mr. Sikakane may then decide if there are other details he still wants. Just continue reading.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Okay, paragraph 6, the mandate of Division Crime Intelligence is to gather, correlate, evaluate, and analyze information to prevent and combat crime in terms of the National Strategic Intelligence Act 39 of 1994, as contemplated in Section 205 of the Constitution, to prevent, combat, and investigate crime, maintain public order, protect and secure the inhabitants of the Republic and their property, uphold and maintain the law. The primary focus is to provide crime intelligence in support of the operational requirements of the operational components of the SAPS. Paragraph 7, the primary function of crime intelligence is the establishment of an intelligence network by way of source of information of whatever nature to address specific intelligence requirement as illustrated and defined in the intelligence collection process of transforming crime information into crime intelligence through application of identification, tasking, planning and direction, gathering, evaluation, collation, analysis, interpretation, production, dissemination, action, feedback, and closure. And then I said there I cannot attach any documents about operational processes as all CI documents are classified.
Please continue.
Paragraph 8, intelligence gathered is reduced to writing by the operative and submitted to the commander who will sign off the report. The report is registered and forwarded to the Intelligence Analysis Center, where the reports and the information get disseminated to relevant addresses, which are on the reports within crime intelligence and other operational components of the SAPS. Paragraph 9, the ad hoc information does not need any approval from the commander to be operationalized, because it is one of the member's key performance areas to conduct operations. Once the member has submitted the intelligence report to the commander, he continues to personalize the information with the relevant unit of SAPS who are responsible, plan operation, and make sure that the intelligence supplied is operationalized. Once this operation has been conducted, the feedback report is submitted to the commander. All intelligence reports follow the same process as mentioned in paragraph 8 above. Paragraph 10.
Just hold on.
Colonel, what is considered ad hoc information that you say does not need the approval of the commander to operationalize?
Commissioners, when we refer to ad hoc operation, we refer to a information that is not planned, information that's that comes in an emergency way where you just received it and then you have to operationalize it. It's not an information that's where maybe you have a progressive investigation that you've been dealing with, but it's information that just come by the way and then you grab it and then you operationalize it.
Oh, sorry.
But if an informant tells you that something is going to happen tomorrow or 2 days from now, two days hence, is that ad hoc information?
We call that an ad hoc because it's not attached to any of your current investigation that you're busy with. Maybe, let's say, our office, we deal with projects, with operations.
Yes.
So it's information that is not part of that. Or it can be information sometimes that is part of the operation, but not maybe in line with the threats that you're trying to address. But it's the information that just comes, that needs attention at the time, and then you operationalize it.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Colonel, just on the point, I wanted you to distinguish in more detail the gathering of evidence or intelligence rather, distinguish it between first getting the information, one, and processing it, and then constructing it as intelligence. Can you just take us through that process? And then compared to what Commissioner Baloyi has said about ad hoc information, and how does it get translated into intelligence?
Okay. Commissioner, basically, we'll be going back to our intelligence collection process, where we look at the crime statistics, and we identify the threats that are a problem. It could be within the district or within the province. And then we do identification of the threats by compiling a threat analysis so that we can analyze and look at the statistics of crime that is taking place, that is probably worrying our communities. And then based on that, once we've identified the threats and done our threat analysis, we then task our sources on the ground to look into the threats that we're facing. From there, we plan and we make a direction as to what we're going to do, which will mean by then we'll then probably register inquiry. Not probably, I'll just say we register inquiry based on the threat. It can be a threat file or an inquiry file, depending on the threats that you're facing at the time. And then from there, you start gathering information with regards to the threats, where you will identify the causes of the threats, the modus operandi, and who is involved in this threat. And then from there, you will evaluate the information. And then you'll put all the information together, and then you'll analyze it. You'll hand it to the analysts to analyze it. And then from there, you will know exactly what you're dealing with, which is the interpretation. Interpretation will give you a clear picture as to what is it that you're dealing with. Is it a syndicate, or is it people who are operating at separately, committing the same crime? And then from there, it's production. Production is when you reduce into writing. From there, you disseminate it. You disseminate it to your IAC, Intelligence Collection Center. From there, once you've disseminated your reports, it's action, which means you operationalize it. Once we've operationalized it, you get feedback from the operational team, and then from there you close your investigation. So that's the process that intelligence gathering is about.
And how long does this process take? And secondly, who is involved in the operationalizing of the information? For example, who signs off the operation?
This process, as I said in the beginning, you will register inquiry, but inquiry has a time frame to keep it open. So it will then mean you'll have to go to your pre-project where you will have to apply for a authority to conduct such pre-project, and which you'll probably run for a certain period. And then if you still can't address your threats, you will then apply for an authority to conduct an undercover operation. So that is the process. That's how far I can explain that process. I cannot go into details as to other issues, but that's the process that we follow.
And for example, if you get information yourself,
Yes.
who would you interact with within this process, within crime intelligence?
The process that, as I've explained, which runs from inquiry to a pre-project, then to a full-blown project, you will have to have your operational team, which will include DPCI, which will include NPA, and which will also include other offices like your asset forfeiture and other relevant units within SAPS, your surveillance and everything. So it becomes, you'll have a team there that will be assisting you. So in most cases, you will have to engage with the prosecutor to get the guidance going forward, so that you don't go off and focus somewhere else, so that you keep your gathering focus with regard to the threats that you're dealing with.
Perhaps maybe let me ask my question differently. I'm limiting for this point within your crime intelligence structure. I said if you get information, right, who do you report the information? Do you submit it to your commander according to your statement?
The handler.
Sorry?
The handler who's a ground troop who collects information. The handler who's a foot soldier, he gathers information, he compiles intelligence reports, he submits to the commander. The commander reads the reports, he signs off the reports.
Thank you. That's the structure I wanted. So a handler would then collect the info from their sources, their respective sources, and they would then compile a report, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And that report is then submitted to your commander?
Yes.
And then your commander has a look at it, and if he's happy, then he signs it off for operation.
He signs it off, it gets disseminated.
Okay.
So it depends what information you have. If it's for example, you can get information of a threat of a people are planning a strike, So that's an early warning that you're going to be submitting, which must go to Intelligence Analysis Collection Center, where it gets disseminated to VISPOL, for VISPOL to plan and be ready so that they don't get caught by surprise. So it depends. Reports. It depends what information you're reporting on. Is it information, early warning, something that needs attention? Or is it a crime that is about to be committed? or is it information about, for example, someone else has a bag of guns in his car or in his house, and you need to operationalize the information. So it depends. It always depends. It's not just one process. It depends on what information you're getting and how to deal with it at the time.
Thank you. And is this process set out somewhere? Because I would imagine it can't be informal.
Yeah, the processes of crime intelligence are set out in operational processes of CI, which is a guideline on intelligence gathering.
Sorry, it's set out where?
It's operational process of CI, which are guiding CI with regard to gathering intelligence.
Sorry, what's the name of the document? Just for the record.
It's operational processes.
Yes.
Of crime intelligence.
So that document, okay, please, am I interrupting you?
Yeah.
So it's operational processes of crime intelligence.
Crime intelligence, yes.
Okay. And you are familiar with this process or this document?
Yeah, it's talk about intelligence collection. It's not just one page. It's probably it's a heart of CI. How CI do things.
But at least you would be familiar with the provisions that apply to yourself.
Yes.
Okay. And then in terms of gathering information, so if you are a handler, you would have some sources. What are the type of sources that you would have as a handler in a typical case?
Sources, you will have your sources that you registered as informants. Sometimes you'll have sources that are not registered. You'll have contacts, people who provide you information who are not expecting any financial gain. Those are human sources that you get.
And if there is, I think we spoke of a process earlier on in terms of engagement. You said it will depend how long it takes. It will depend on each of these, in each circumstance, how long the process takes and how you operationalize it, correct?
Yes.
And when it's ad hoc information, I think that's the question that you had from Commissioner Baloyi, is that it is information that you would obtain from in emergency situations.
Yes, it's an information that is not in the planning. Like, for example, if you're running an inquiry, you have a progressive investigation. But something that comes now that, for example, there's a wanted suspect and he's spotted somewhere, and then you get a team to go there and arrest him. That's like something that is quick that comes now that you need to deal with it. That's what we refer to at a corporation. It's something that doesn't need any investigation, that you must do analysis, you must gather and follow all this process that I've mentioned. It's something that you get now that you must operationalize now. Maybe you get it today, tomorrow it's operationalized and it's closed. That ends there.
Okay. Please proceed to your paragraph 10.
Okay. Paragraph 10, Commissioners. Border security is responsible in gathering intelligence to address the threats of all criminal syndicates involved in organized crime related to cross-border crimes in land, air, and sea borders. And the following standard operational procedure is followed whilst dealing with containers at the harbor. Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, the standard operational procedure, the SOP in terms of container operations at the ports of entry, crime intelligence procedures. When an operative has information relating to smuggling within containers at the seaports at Durban Harbour, the intelligence operative must brief the commander on the information. The commander will analyze the intelligence, and once all the relevant information is gathered, the commander will then brief the section head of VPO, Visible Policing and Operations, at ORS. ORS is Operational Response Services in Border Police. The intelligence is only shared with the section head to prevent the information from being leaked. We retain the intelligence point as well. We do not disseminate immediately in order to prevent the information from being leaked. Procedure after breaking the
Colonel, before you proceed.
brigadier at the Durban.
Sorry, Colonel?
Colonel, before
Yes.
you proceed, in that very first paragraph under crime,
Yes, Commissioner.
under crime intelligence procedures, you say the intelligence operative must brief
Yes.
the commander on the information. Is that the same thing that you referred to earlier as a written report to the commander? Remember in the...
That's correct, Your Worship.
Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
That's correct, Your Worship. I mean, sorry, Commissioner, I'm saying Your Worship.
Commissioner, thank you.
Commissioner. Yeah. Okay. Can I continue?
Yes, you may.
Sorry,
Okay, Commissioners.
Sorry, Colonel. I think just to follow on what Commissioner Baloyi is indicating. So, the first paragraph, you would say that that does not relate to ad hoc information?
Yes, that is ad hoc.
It also ad hoc ought to follow the SOP that it set out.
Yes, it's ad hoc. It's ad hoc. It works both ad hoc on operations that are if it falls under projects that is being run at the time. This is the process you will follow. For example, if you get information on your operation that there's a container coming with counterfeit goods, that's the process you'll follow. Obviously, you'll compile your intelligence report as usual, and then you'll follow the process of engaging with ORS. Whether it's ad hoc or it's not ad hoc, you still follow the same.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Okay, the procedure after briefing the brigadier at the Durban Harbour. The information is retained by the section head, and only a container number is given to the ORS profile unit to request a detention from the shipping line. The profiler will send an email on an official detention form and request that the shipping line have the container moved to a licensed inspection depot. The depot is determined by the shipping lines, as they have their own depots that are contracted to the shipping line. Common depots are Green Africa, Freight Station SA, CMC, Green Road, Intermodal, and UCD. All shipping lines must comply with the request of the police. The various scenarios, depending on the nature of the intelligence, will require different approaches. One, if a container is suspected to be carrying a rip-off consignment of drugs, the container can be inspected on the vessel out at sea. If the vessel is within within 12 nautical miles, 24 kilometers at sea, the police or Directorate for Private Crime Investigation may use Section 16.3 of the Police Act to board the vessel and conduct a search and seizure. Containers may also be inspected within the container terminal. This is the operational area within Transnet terminals. This type of inspection requires the assistance of Transnet to track and locate the container. The container is placed for inspection at the designated site known as claims area, where there are cameras. Sensitive operations may be conducted within this area. Police may detain any container.
What constitutes sensitive operations that you say may be conducted in this area? What is, maybe let me ask again, what is a sensitive operation for this purpose?
Sensitive operations most probably will be of counter narcotics that will refer to sensitive information. And then you get other operations where you will have to look at your counterfeit, but more operations that we deem sensitive are operations that involve drugs or counter narcotics.
And the operation that you say happens in this area, what is that operation? What happens, in fact? Let's talk about counter narcotics. What does a sensitive operation in this area entail? What are the elements of it?
Okay. Basically, in operations that are conducted in this area, it's where, let's say, you get information of a container that's coming. Maybe your information says it has counter narcotics. So you have two ways of doing it. After requesting a stop or arrest to put a stop, you can request DPCI to be present, or you can ask ORS inspection team to open containers, the container for inspection, to confirm what commodities inside, or if there is drugs inside. And then if there is drugs, if it's positive, then you summon DPCI to come to the scene.
And is this a secure area for this purpose?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, just to follow up on what you just said, you're saying that when the information is positive, you then summon the DPCI. Is that what you
DPCI,
said?
yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And what constitutes positive? What's the meaning of positive?
After opening and conducting inspection, and then you identify that, yes, indeed, it does contain drugs. Because there, the inspection will be done by the inspection team of ORS, who will open the container for you. You are not going to open a container as an operative yourself. You'll be there to say, this is a container I've identified. Obviously, they will call you when it's ready for inspection, and then you meet them there and then you do inspection with them. You observe what is inside there, and then when they confirm, yes, it's counter narcotics, then they will have to contact the relevant units, which will include DPCI.
Okay, so ORS is the one that contacts DPCI.
Yes, ORS has inspection team. When after opening a container, then they found drugs, they'll contact DPCI. Or you as a handler, you can also contact DPCI. Because at some stage, sometimes if you're gonna be doing this operation, sometimes we do communicate. And then you say, I've got this information. If they're available, they'll come with to the scene to do inspection. Or they can say, go and check with ORS. If it's positive, call us. It depends on each scenario.
Apologies. So you're saying, when you say it depends on each scenario, what does the process say? Does it say you can use the discretion?
As I explained, this is the process that we follow when we deal with containers. There is no written process that we can say this is the one. This is the office. Process that was designed. That this is what we must do when we deal with containers. So a handler can decide. Here's the information I'm getting of drugs. Do I take the PCI with, or the container is still at the harbor? You must know it's still at the harbor. If it's still at the harbor, it's under the control of ORS. There's nothing wrong by using ORS before you're conducting DPCI, because you don't know what you're going to find inside the container. You can use ORS to say, here's a container, let's do inspection. They'll do all the paperwork of placing a stop and making sure, trace the container and have it placed. And then from there, it get inspected. Then if it's positive, DPCI will then be someone to come, because it's their mandate to deal with drugs. But if it's negative, obviously, there's no need of calling DPCI, because there's nothing found inside.
Okay, please proceed.
Can I just understand when you say ORS will deal with it if it's still at the harbor, is that the limits of ORS's involvement? As long as it's still at the harbor, or once it's out of the harbor, they can't deal with it? Is that what it means?
They can also do inspections when it's outside the harbor. But what I'm trying to say, if they've placed the stop, they will deal with it when it's there in the harbor.
Yes.
Maybe they will open. Let's say, for example, let's move away from drugs now. Let's say it's counterfeit. Yes. They will open, then they'll realize, oh no, here it's possibility that these goods are counterfeit. We need to get brand attorneys to be present, and then we need to do a full unpack.
Yes.
And then that container will be sealed using a police seal. They'll seal it, and then it will be taken to the depot, where a date will be set for full unpack of the container, where the brand attorneys can then come and take samples to confirm whether it's counterfeits. Then from there, that's where another part of another unit of DPCI comes in now, which is commercial crime, which deals with counterfeit.
Thank you.
Then they'll be notified to take over that investigation.
And then in terms of the engagement of the DPCI, at what level is that? Is it just a matter of a phone call, or is there a formal process of engaging DPCI?
Commissioners, at the operational level, it works differently. It doesn't work with paper all the time. It works with a understanding between units which are working operationally. Some of these things, there is no time to say, now here's a container, now you found counterfeit goods, then you must go to your office and write a letter to request the PCI. It doesn't work that way. You pick up the phone, you call. The person that you're speaking to, he will say, okay, speak to my commander. You speak to the commander, you explain. Or you speak to your commander who lies with the commander of the PCI at their level, at their seniority. They'll liaise, But if there is a need for an official letter, which we refer to as the SAP21, which is the letter that we write when we request any information or any assistance within the police, that will be thrown out. But on a normal operational processes, there is no time to do letters and all those. That get attended to at a later stage.
Sorry, do you have?
It's all about communicating personally or maybe go have a meeting, go to the office, set up a meeting, discuss, and continue. It's work as always, because at the end of the day, we have to work. As long as we know that we're still within the context of the law, we're not doing anything wrong.
Perhaps just finish the processes and then I'll just ask my questions at the end. I think you were...
I think I was at number 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The police may detain, number 2, the police may detain any container for random inspection in terms of the customs act based on profiling or intelligence. And number 3, as soon as the container is placed at a depot, ORS inspection team is appointed to conduct an inspection. In the event of the information is provided by crime intelligence, the commander of border security will be informed to be present before any seals are broken. If there is a dual stop by customs, then they may also be present during the inspection. It is also determined that the commodity was, if it is determined that the commodity was false declaration or under declaration, then customs will take over and do the necessary. Where there is a criminal case, for example, illicit cigarettes, drugs, counterfeit goods, or precursor chemicals, the police will usually take control of the commodities. Whenever there is information of drugs, the PCI must be informed in order to take over the crime scene for investigation. Some containers may have already been released by customs and may have already left the port. In this instance, ORS does not have control over those containers. However, the police can still request the detention wherever it may be and conduct an inspection of the container. All depots must comply with the instruction to hold or detain the container until the police have inspected the container. And if they are satisfied that container is legitimate, then it may be released on instruction. Customs may detain and inspect containers in terms of the Customs Act and don't require the police unless they have detected drugs. In that instance, DPCI must be called out to conduct an investigation. In the case of drug cases, the DPCI will have to command and control the seizure, packaging, and forensic processing is controlled by DPCI. The ORS and customs have their own SOP which they follow, and this SOP was designed by the unit commander in sea borders and has been all along been followed by border security through the years, and there is no written SOP document available to provide in this regard at the office, as we are guided by intelligence operational processes.
Thank you. I just want to confirm whether I understand properly. This process you've outlined, you're saying that it is not contained in any document.
Yes.
So
there is no signed document that say this is the process we must follow. But it's like I'll put it this way: like I'll say we can call it a station order, which the office must break it down to guide as to what the members need to do in the ground. This is the process you must follow when you stop a container.
But surely with the kind of prescripts or what it provides, there must be some authority or way to oversee the process, or someone must take accountability if things are not followed. For example, it used peremptory language. There must be someone who takes into account or who ensures that this process is followed. Who will that be?
In this instance, it will be a commander to ensure that it's followed.
So if within crime intelligence, right, this, how can I call it, this thing that you've set out, this process you've set out, this is what everyone understands about seizures. And what happens if you don't follow it?
I'll say this. Here you're talking about Durban Harbour only. You mean here we're talking about sea borders. You must know now border security, as I said, it divided into land, air, and sea. This is how you deal with containers at the Durban Harbour.
Okay,
So it cannot apply anywhere else. It only applies how you deal with containers in sea borders. Let's say, could it be in your Richards Bay sea border or Durban Harbour sea border? This is the process you need to follow.
I'm saying that would mean that, let's say, within the harbour or sea, if this process is not followed, who would be accountable to it? Who would hold the member accountable? It would be the commander.
The commander.
And
yes, the commander.
Okay. Thank you. Please proceed to paragraph 11.
Okay, paragraph 11. Crime intelligence does not need to issue document to request a stop and detention of a container to ORS. It can be done verbally or by sending an email to ORS. However, an SAP 21 letter of request to place a stop signed by the commander can be submitted to ORS if requested to do so. So basically in this paragraph, the crime intelligence, border security, and ORS, they've been working together for years. Even before I came, they've been operating together. There is operational, how can I put it? Like a memorandum of understanding between the two offices, because we rely on them. And when it comes to stopping containers and doing inspections, because they have teams to conduct inspections. So they also rely on us should we pick up information with contraband or illicit goods or whatever the case may be, to provide them with with intelligence so that they can stop those containers. So it works both ways. That's what basically I'm trying to say here. Can I go on to paragraph 12?
Sorry, just before you go to paragraph 12. So as matters operate, or for as long as you operated within this space, basically there is no formal process that is adopted or that is written somewhere.
No, we don't have.
And basically, whatever information that you have, no matter how you gathered it, you can simply approach a depot or a transporter and inspect a container.
No, I think we were dealing with the processes in the harbor. So a container that's it's coming through the port. This is a process that you use to stop that container that is coming to the port. If you pick up information after the effects, the container has already went through the port and released to go to a depot. It's not in the control of ORS anymore. It's in the depot where you now, as a person that is getting information, you have to liaise with that depot. Should have been a clearing and forwarding who's dealing with that container. You contact them. It's your duty to contact them to say you have interest in that container being inspected. You want to put a stop on it. Then they'll tell you what they will need. If they say they are fine, okay, you can come and inspect it at this time, and then you agree, and then the team is arranged, and you go there and inspect. It's up to them. They can also request something in writing. If they say they want something in writing, then you must produce something in writing as an operative. Then give it to them, which, yeah. But normally, I've never come at depot that will refuse when the police wants to do inspection, because the quicker inspection is done and the commodity is released, it's good for them. Otherwise, their clients start complaining. So we've never come across, when I was there, I've never come across where the depot will refuse.
Can you just explain this part, which I thought I understood, but now I'm confused by what you've just said? In where you set out the procedure, in paragraph 3, you say, of that procedure, you say, as soon as the container is placed at a depot, ORS inspection team is appointed to conduct an inspection. You see where I'm reading?
Yes, I see.
Okay. And then in paragraph 5, the first sentence, it says, some containers may already have been released and may have already left the port. In this instance, ORS does not have control over those containers. Can you just reconcile? And I'm asking from a place of ignorance because I don't know much about ports, harbor, and depots. But it seems, and from that place of ignorance, it looks like there's a contradiction. Can you just explain how 3 works with 5, with the first sentence in 5?
Okay. Commissioners, 3 will be, if you go back to where we started, where I said procedure after briefing the brigadier, those containers falls under where a profiler has sent an email or on official detention form and request that the shipping line have the container moved to a licensed inspection depot. The depot is determined by shipping lines, and they have their own depot that are contracted. And I mentioned them there, which is Green Africa, Freight Station, SA, CMC, Green Road, and Samuel. All shipping lines must comply with the request of the police. So, number 3, number 3, as soon as the container is placed, those are the containers that are placed, that are stopped by ORS. They get stopped, then from there they move to these depots. And then as soon as they are placed at those depots for inspection, then ORS will go and inspect them. Whereas in paragraph 5, here we're talking about a container that has already been released, that there was no stop on it, and it was released. It comes, it gets cleared by customs, no stop by ORS, cleared by customs, and then it goes to a depot elsewhere. Number 5, those are the containers that we're talking about, where ORS has no control, it's already left.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want us to go to the process. I think in the big file that you would have obtained, the last file, which is, it's not labeled. Commissioners, can I just request that you go to that file? I apologize. It's the big one, it's not labeled. Or is it this one?
Yes, I've got it in front of me.
Page 286.
286.
Yes, we're going to deal with the formalities and label it properly and the exhibit. So it's going to form part of the exhibit file. Or bundle, rather. This document, would it have been applicable to the operations at the time in June 2021?
Can I just have a look at it, Commissioners?
Now, I'm saying this document, would it apply to you or in June 2021 and ORS and border policing rather?
I see at the top, Mrs. Kagane, it says confidential. It won't get onto stuff that we need not deal with publicly. I have no idea. I'm seeing this for the first time.
Yes, apologies. I think I confessed myself. So the reason it's separate is going to form part of the confidential exhibit bundle so that it doesn't have to be released to the public. Otherwise, I'm in big trouble.
Commissioners,
Can in exactly on the basis of what you've just said, must the content be aired publicly? I have no idea. You've not asked your question that goes into the content, but perhaps
They've declassified it.
I guess I'm preempting that.
Yes. They've declassified it for this purpose, but I understand the concept. But I had cleared it with but they just said we shouldn't otherwise publicly deal with it or hand it out. But so I see your concern where it comes from.
Yes.
Perhaps let me deal with it later on.
I've not engaged with the content. I'm seeing the document now. Obviously, you have engaged with the document.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You are better placed to decide whether or not it's something that should be aired publicly. And your leader is right next to you.
Commissioners, I don't know if I may comment.
Yes, Colonel.
Yeah, Commissioners, this document that I see, it's visible policing and operations border police. So for us, especially I as myself, I have no insight of this document. I've never seen it. So this will be what I spoke about earlier, that all RS police have their own SOP. I'm sure this is the one of their SOP that they have. If I read it here, it's recommended and approved by the section head, Durban Harbour Policing, which is the uniform, which was in March. It was approved 2021-03-18. So I have no insight of this document. I've never seen it, and I don't know what it contains inside. In fact, before I came here, after consulting with you advocates, I did make contact with via the Sea Border Commander to access this document to see what is in this document, and I didn't receive any response up until I see it here. So
it seems that
it's not crime intelligence. It's not crime intelligence document.
Yes.
It's a visible policy document.
I
don't know much what is inside.
Just a minute, Colonel. I guess Mrs. Kakane, the answer lies in exactly what the Colonel has just said, which is that he doesn't know the document. So perhaps we need not engage him on it, or not.
Can I just ask
someone else perhaps who has insights into the content should deal with it?
Sorry, apologies.
Yes.
So perhaps what I wanted to check whether in terms of the processes that are run, in terms of this document, he's aware of those processes, and then we take it from there. Because he says he's never seen the document, it was never.
It's exactly on that basis that I'm saying perhaps it would not serve much purpose for us to engage him on it if it basically knows nothing about it.
Okay.
I'm not sure that your leader agrees.
I'll just leave it at, I won't say we disagree. She doesn't disagree. I'll leave it at that, it's fine, Chair. Perhaps it leaves us.
Thank you.
It,
Or perhaps we may park this for
I think let's pack it
some
and I'll
later
explain
stage,
it.
and
I'll explain it, yes.
if you want to engage us further, you may do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just then proceed to your paragraph 12.
Yes, Commissioners. I'm going to move to paragraph 12. Okay. In 2021, or 621, I was holding the rank of a captain working at Security Intelligence in Border Security Devon. During the performance of my duties, I gathered intelligence about consignment of drugs in one of the depots at Pingo. I telephonically contacted the depot at cargo handling, supply chain, CHC container, private depot, 14th Avenue, Sipingo, Prospect in Devon South. I informed the manager that I had received the permission from the transporter and the clearing and forwarding agents to have container number BEAU 595-5535 space for inspection and to be inspected by the members of the SAPS on 2026 or 622. As it was a container of interest with intention to verify the commodity that was inside the container. The container was secured by the depot manager whilst assembling operational team.
Thank you. Perhaps
Okay.
we can just deal with some questions at this point. You said you gathered the intelligence.
Yes.
Can you just explain, obviously earlier on we dealt with the manner of receiving intelligence. When do you get this information? Was it from an informer?
You mean when the data received it?
Date and how?
Okay. We deal with sources that we handle, and the proper information was received on the 21st of June, telephonically.
So you received information telephonically?
Yes.
Okay. And did you?
I'll say I gathered. I gathered it. I think we had this engagement, advocates, when we consulted, where I told you and the evidence leader, Cello, about the risks and the danger that comes with people who provide information. And I highlighted to you as to why I had written that paragraph like that, and the evidence leader agreed. We all agreed on protecting the original list of information, as it may have repercussions where we disclose our source of information. So I don't know where we stand on that, because we did speak about it, and I raised my concern with regarding to information handling and the danger it comes with it. And and the developments that we've seen in this matter, where people have lost their lives, even some of the witnesses have lost their lives who have came in and testified. So I made it clear why I provided information. I wrote it in that way to avoid the question that will follow, that you're going to ask me, as to where the information came from, who was the informant. That's the reason why I wrote it that way, to protect. So I'll ask maybe the commissioners to take note of that.
Should we not move on to the next question, Mrs. Kakane? Thank you.
So you obtained this information on the 21st of June, and then you move on to say you then received permission from the transporter.
Yes.
And you would have contacted the transporter, obviously.
Yes.
And who?
Maybe let me try and explain exactly what happened, just to put the commission in a clear picture. This matter happened some time ago. I don't have details of transporter, of clearing forward. I don't have a name as to who exactly I spoke to. But basically, after gathering information and getting a container number, the first thing when you get a container number, you need to contact ORS to try and trace where the container is exactly, who's the transporter, where it's transported to, and who's the transporter, and who's the clearing and forwarding agent. Yes, I knew it was, information says that's at the depot, the specified depot, but it's important that I speak to someone to have a permission for the container to be inspected. So basically, I spoke to the transporter, and I spoke to the clearing and forwarding agent person, and they referred me to the depot manager. And then I contacted the depot manager. I spoke to her. I did not divulge much about what we were suspecting is inside the container. I just mentioned that it's a container of interest. We just want to check a commodity. I did that to protect the information so that it doesn't leak, that, we lose the consignment. So that's basically how I came about communicating with this information.
So am I understanding it correctly that you, because of the passage of time, you do not have the name of the transporter?
No, I don't have, but I'm sure, probably, if DPCI made the investigation and their inquiry, maybe they will have the details, but I don't have the details.
Okay. Can I just take you to the exhibit file? There's two files. There's the second one that starts to 642.
Okay, let me have a look at it.
Just ask one of the attorneys to assist you.
Page?
642.
642.
642.
Yes, commissioners, advocates have got it in front of me.
Okay. Do you recognize the name Aleta Mushini?
No. Not really, no, I don't.
Because that would have been the owner of the goods that were transported from Ivans, if you look at paragraph 2 of that affidavit.
Let me just read through. Commissioners, I don't wanna say something that I don't know. I don't know this name. It's possible that I spoke to, but I can't really tell because I don't have those records, and it's been quite a while. So unless if he says I spoke.
Colonel, so the detail you remember is the container number.
I remember the container number. I know the manager at the depot that I spoke to. But the transporter and And the clearing and forwarding, I can't remember their details, but I know I spoke to them.
Okay. Yes, Mrs. Kakan.
Thank you. On the telephone call. Oh, sorry. On the telephone call, who did you speak to? When you're saying you don't know.
From where? From a transporter or?
Yeah, from the transporter to get permission.
That's what I'm saying, commissioners. I don't remember.
Okay, if you go to that.
If I remembered, I would have put that in my statement. I don't remember, but I remember I spoke to someone doing transport, and I spoke to someone. He referred me to the clearing and forwarding, and the clearing and forwarding referred me to the manager at the airport. Then I contacted the manager and spoke to him.
Okay, if you go to the very same affidavit at paragraph 6, I'll give you just an opportunity to go through that paragraph.
Paragraph 6, yes. Okay, can I just have a look quickly?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Skakani, while he's reading paragraph 6, with some of the names, maybe he can just confirm that that is the name. I understood the witness's concern to be that he doesn't want to mention people's names publicly because it might expose them to risk. So if he looks at a document and the name is written there, I would be happy if he just says, yes, that's the name I spoke to. I don't know that it's necessary that it be said publicly.
Oh, I thought I had asked that question whether he recognizes the name, and he says he doesn't recall, unless it's a separate.
No, going forward, it would
going
be the
forward.
same principle.
Oh, okay. But say for the companies, obviously. All right.
No, I've read through the document, Commissioner.
So you've read paragraph 6?
Yes.
And is that the company you spoke to? That's Mega Freight?
Let me just look. Do I mention in my statement?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, honestly. But let me look at something else.
So you didn't recall it?
No, I don't recall the name. I don't recall the name. I'm trying to look at.
Can you turn to page 611.1 on the same file?
611.
Yes, point 1.
Wrong.
611. If you turn back.
611, okay. Yes, I can see it in front of me.
Yes, you'd see if you go down at the square at the bottom, you'd see a list of containers.
Yes.
And I think it's the second container.
Yes.
That's the container that is subject, or at least you had the information of.
Yes.
And you would agree that it would be this is from Mega Freight. This is the company that would have been responsible for that container.
Yes.
And
you are referring to where there's a yellow highlight, Mrs. Kaka?
No, below the green one. Apologies. It's PEAU 5955535.
Oh, I see, where there's a little green on the side.
Green one, yes.
Oh, all right, thank you.
So you confirm that?
Yes,
that's
there
the company.
I can see it's reflected, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And just to double check, did they inform you about any detention on that container?
No, not that I know of, except that I believe there's an email that came on the 23rd. It was after the effect, and it showed that it had SARS detention.
No, that's a different one, but that's the only one you know of SARS.
So I don't get you now. Can you repeat?
No, I'm saying the one that you saw would have been after the fact on the 23rd.
Yes.
Okay, and how did you learn of that?
There's an email that came to me requesting it was requesting counter narcotics to come. But apparently, I believe DPSI went that very same day in the container to continue with the inspection. Yeah.
Okay. If then, can you just go to page 595? I'll move off that.
$595.
Yes. That's an affidavit from Flaude.
Yes. Okay.
Can you just perhaps read it for yourself on the process that should have been followed? I'll give you just a minute to go through it.
Okay. You want me to read loud or read it for myself?
No, to yourself.
Okay.
Can we continue? Are you still busy?
I'm still reading, but okay, now you can continue.
Okay. So the last paragraph in particular, perhaps I can read it to the record. So he says,
Yeah.
in this matter, I was not informed of the container inspection on the 22nd day of June 2021, the day the drugs were seized at CHC container depot. I only received the instruction to attend inspection on the 23rd. So
Yes.
so you agree that you wouldn't have interacted with him on this inspection?
No, I don't even know who he is. But I believe if I had interacted with the depot on the 21st, I'm sure they would have interacted with him to say these police will be coming the 22nd to do inspection. So maybe it will be a fault from the depot or the people I spoke to. Yeah, but I don't know his processes that must be followed. I don't know them. So that's the process that he follows. You know, as I said, each person has his own procedure that he follows. From what I can see, this is what standard operational procedure that he follows, which I would have no knowledge of. If the depot was aware of inspection being conducted on the 22nd, you would have expected that you would have got a message to say the police will be here to inspect.
Okay, so you say, just to confirm, that you've never interacted on this seizure with him, with Mr.
No,
Okay,
you know,
all right.
as I've mentioned, commissioners, I don't have details of the two people I interacted with. I can't really say this is the person. I don't want to, call names of people that I'm not sure of, that I spoke to them, or it is what it is.
Can I just ask who who must be present when now the container is going to be open? I had earlier understood that ORS has to be there. In fact, you say in paragraph 3, in the event the information is provided by crime intelligence, the commander of border security will be informed to be present before any cells are broken. So, according to this paragraph 3, the border security commander should have been there when the seal was broken, according to this paragraph 3.
Basically, the Commissioner, okay, let me just go through so that I can answer you correctly. We refer there to the container that are stopped at the harbor. Because if you look at it, you said paragraph 3.
Yeah.
I've mixed up my documents here, but
yeah, it's paragraph 3 where you have set out the procedure. So remember, you start off by the first heading is crime intelligence procedures, and then you tell us that the operative will report to his commander, must brief the commander, and then the commander will brief the section head of visible policing and operations, right? You say that?
Yes.
Operational responsibilities in border police. And then paragraph 3, I know we discussed the first part of it. As soon as the container is placed at the depot, you say this would apply only if it is the ORS that put a stop on the container. But then there's where it says, in the event of information provided by crime intelligence, the commander of border security will be informed to be present before any seals are broken. Does that apply, this part that I've just read now, does that apply to cargo that was not stopped by ORS?
This procedure you've just explained, Commissioner, it's deals with the cargo that is detained by ORS, which is in the harbor, and which get moved to container.
Okay.
Then when you go there to 5, let's say some containers may have already been released, may have already left the port. So the one that you're referring to here is retained, is released, is no more at the port. Where now, you as a member now, you are responsible to trace that container, the whereabouts, and conduct inspection. The commander, yes, can be there.
Yeah.
But those processes are specifically for Durban Harbour. Containers that are coming through the harbour, that this is a process you need to follow. Sometimes you will find that the container has moved from Durban Harbour, to example, to Ketteridge. There's a place called Ketteridge towards Pietermaritzburg. There, it's outside the harbour now. So you can't follow the same process of contacting ORS because it's not under their jurisdiction. It's outside the harbour. You now, as a member, have to liaise with the depots and have those containers inspected.
Okay. Then let me go back.
So in this instance,
yes, carry on.
In this instance, this one was normal at the Durban Harbour. It had already moved to a depot.
Okay.
And there was no police stop, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Then let me go back to my question. When, in the case such as yours, the 21 June operation, when the seal is broken, you've provided the intelligence, you are at the scene. Who is supposed to be there when the seal is broken? As a matter of operate, whether it's a written or just the way you operate, as a matter of operating conduct.
In some instances, you will find that some representatives of that commodity will be there. I've seen that when ORS is conducting those inspections, maybe I'm there observing. You find that they'll have, okay, let's put it this way, the container is stopped at the depot. Maybe they opened it at the depot, at the harbor, and then they realize, no, we need to do full unpack, and they sealed it. Then from there, after it's been resealed, then the owners of that container, or the clearing forward, or whoever is a representative, will be there when it's broken, or the manager of the depot will be there. Then the police will be there, which is ORS will be there. Yeah.
And in this case of the cargo on the 21st, was ORS there when the seal was broken?
I know there were ORS members that were there.
Yeah, we know from other evidence. Sorry, Colonel.
Yeah.
We know from
Yes.
other evidence that ORS members, I think, if I'm not mistaken, were asked to give a lift to take these drugs to Amanzimtoti police station. I think they were ORS, if I'm not mistaken. I'm asking a different question. When the seal was broken, was ORS present to observe the breaking of the seal?
If I'm not mistaken, yes, they were there, Commissioner.
Okay. Is that not something that you would have recorded in your report? Because we do see from your procedure that at the end you must also submit a report to your commander about this operation. Is that not typically information that you would include in your report?
I'm sure I would have mentioned something and come to book something in.
Okay, if we had a copy of your report, and maybe Mr. Skakani will take us there. If we have a copy of your
Yes.
report, is that we would expect to find that kind of information in the report?
Yes. So
Okay.
Areas your commissioners.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Skakani.
Commissioners, I think, can we adjourn for lunch? I think I want to perhaps clarify some issues with yourself.
Let's adjourn and resume at 2 p.m.
Thank you.